Hi, everyone, and welcome into Rounding the Bases Live. This is episode 12. My name is Joel Goldberg. Thanks for joining the show, whether you're watching it live or later on Facebook, YouTube, and we'll have it up on LinkedIn too. Another episode telling some of the stories of what's going on here in our community amidst this pandemic. I've got a great show today, and want to thank my title sponsor. So it's Rounding the Bases Live, presented by Enterprise Bank and Trust. I couldn't do this without them. And their hashtag really says it all. No stopping you. Everyone out there right now is trying to find a way, trying to be innovative, be nimble, and adjust to what is going on. It's been so inspiring to see what everyone is doing. I want to let you know on Friday, we'll have Justin Mahoney from Enterprise Bank on talking about these SBA loans, and all you small business owners out there, maybe you've taken part and applied already, or you're getting ready to do so. It can be a little bit complicated. And so we'll have Justin on, and Brian Houston, who's a lawyer. Both of those guys I've talked to a lot throughout this process. So I think you'll find that their expertise will be very helpful. And want to thank my other sponsor in Casey Cattle Company, local company, veteran owned and operated. And it's been interesting actually in going to the grocery stores. We've done some online shopping. I went out with a mask yesterday. We just ordered our masks from Made in KC. Had Tyler Enders on the other day. So what I had was a homemade thing. It didn't look very good and it wasn't working very well. I felt a little bit like an idiot, but you know what? It's all about safety right now, protecting not just yourself, but protecting others. And it was actually encouraging to me. I was at the store a few days ago, and I maybe it's just timing. I felt like maybe a third of the people were wearing masks. And yesterday, it felt like more like almost closer to 3/4. So I think that was encouraging to me, just to see more people being conscientious of this and just being proactive if they have to be able to get out. But for Casey Cattle Company, you could go to their website or you could go to their social media. They deliver to all 50 states. They also deliver here in the Kansas City area. Wagyu beef. Just get onto their website. We've tried just about everything from the hot dogs to the brisket, and they sell out quickly and then they reload quickly. So you got to jump on there on a regular basis. They'll make that delivery. We had Taco Tuesday last night with some of Casey Cattle Company Wagyu beef, and it was amazing. Another thing that I love is coffee every day, over and over again, and that will be the way to lead to my guest for this episode. Want to welcome into the program right now the owner of Thou Mayest Coffee Roasters, Bo Nelson, who, like I think just about everybody else that I've had on the show, is absurdly busy. So I'm glad that I tracked you down, because you're doing really, really cool things. Bo, how are you doing personally?
Oh man, hanging in there, man. One day at a time, just kind of one foot in front of the next. Just trying to make sure that we maintain gratefulness throughout this, because ultimately, the lessons that I'm being taught right now are just, this is so far beyond. I would think that maybe what our great grandparents maybe got to experience, and just the opportunity to get to it's a different posture, but kind of that it kind of clicked for me about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was like, you can take a disposition of victimization of like, well, coronavirus, and you can kind of just throw your hands up, and that's a perfectly, I don't blame people for that response, but I want my response to be, what did you do? And so the opportunity then is seen rather than the problems that exist. And so, when you just see a lot of blue ocean in front of you, especially right now, it's like, just the mentality and the positivity and the power that allows a brand to just reach down and to really grab people and kind of reach them where it counts, which is, deep down. And that's where, when people say, they don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's like, this is where that why is made manifest and like taken from your heart and like put in your package, in your product, and got out to the masses. So yeah, I mean, I'm just in a state of just consistent gratefulness and humility. And these bags under my eyes are, I mean, we're just roasting nonstop. I took a break to talk to you, but I've got, hundreds of packages to get out. So it's overwhelming, but I think the comfort in it is that we are all in the same boat, and the only way that we are going to get through this is it's going to be together, and we're going to have to work. And I think the people that are look at it in terms of kind of a selfish, hey, I'm going to get mine, kind of that hoarding mentality too. I just don't think the history's gonna and the community's gonna reward them kindly, because we really do need each other to come together and to use each other's creative energy and our thoughts. I mean, just even you having me on the show here is just, thank you so much. I mean, this is what an opportunity, to get to talk to more people about what we're up to. It's awesome. Thanks.
Well, one, you're welcome. There's a lot to unpack in everything that you said there. By the way, what's the brew there that
what I'm sipping on? Yeah, I'm sipping on Smooth Operator today.
All right.
It's our most sold coffee. That one's
I think I just lost here, Bo, if you could hear me, I just lost your mic. I don't know why. So I'm gonna hope that you can get that back. Yeah. It says I don't know, we'll work on that. And this is just the way unmute mic. Let's see if you can click an unmute button. It looks like you're muted for whatever reason. And this is and by the way, just there you go. You're back. Listen, here's what I want to say. As someone, no, it's okay. As someone that has done live television for 25 years, I feel like I am positioned to handle any technical difficulty that goes wrong, because guess what? We at the network level, or I'll say the regional network level, I don't know if I'm good enough to be national, but no, at the regional level, we have issues that pop up all the time. I think I was saying yesterday, I had Aaron Folk on, and I forgot. So I'm using this service called StreamYard, which has been great. I mean, it's unbelievable what technology can do.
Yeah.
And I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be doing shows during the baseball season that wasn't happening in a walk-in closet. That's what this is right now. People say, oh, you got a nice little studio. Look, if you go somewhere like the Tonight Show or anything like that, it doesn't look the same when you're there in person either. So,
I'm sitting here, my roaster's right behind me. So.
Yeah, I like it. But my point is, and I actually want to get back to what you were saying, is stuff's going to go wrong. Like, so I forgot to click the live button yesterday when I had Aaron on for 8 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, do I start the whole thing over, or do I just pick it up where we're at? Oh, you know what? Just roll with it. Like, we're all adjusting on the fly right now. So I know I had a guest last week and he dropped out, and I could see that he was panicking a little bit. And I'm like, it's cool. I mean, again, if I've been a part of a show that's being seen by hundreds of thousands of people around Kansas City and beyond that has a technical difficulty, stuff goes wrong. It's okay. And right now it's understandable. I think there's something to that in terms of being nimble, in terms of rolling, and it, and we'll get into this. That stuff is coming up, I'm sure, without even knowing, on an every moment basis for you and thou mayest, that you would have never expected. But I want to unpack a little bit of what you said, because in your opening remarks, there was so much that you said that encompassed everything that is going on. Togetherness, not just laying around. And by the way, and you touched on this, everybody's having their oh crap moments. And it's not just once. You might have them multiple times a day. And I don't want to tell anyone how to live their lives. And some people, myself included, we need time to sit on the couch or unwind or get away from all this too. But I will tell you, and like you say, thanks for having on the show. I don't have goods or services that I can go offer, first responders like you're doing. I don't have the ability to go make hand sanitizer like they're doing over at Rieger. I don't have the ability, on and on and on. Like, I'm not in that industry yet. I feel like right now, with just a computer, a $40 ring light, a microphone, a backdrop, that I can go out there and hopefully with my broadcast skills just bring attention to causes that are going on, or offer advice for people that might help pick them up, that they could maybe be inspired, whatever it is. So I think that's we all have a role that we can play, and that leads me to asking you, as a coffee roaster and one that I know has a lot of passion and an incredible loyal customer base, I'm sure you never thought you'd be doing anything quite like this.
No, this has been. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having.
Yep, nope, you're good. You're good.
My Bluetooth's messing up. So I caught the majority of that, and I'm assuming you were talking about being nimble and adapting and pivoting and
we all have a role to play. Like I'm not in the restaurant or the the food industry, but I know I can help, and it feels, not only does it feel good to help, it's a passion of, I like looking into the camera and broadcasting. So why not help others out? But you now have this unique opportunity beyond what I'm sure you ever expected to have.
Yeah, and it's all in your perspective and how you look at it too. I mean, heck, look at Andy Rieger and the opportunity that they saw, to be able to produce hand sanitizer, and then Matt Basinger, he at first he was closing down the shops, and he's like, man, we got to keep cash flow going. Like, let's go. And, Rieger, can I distribute? Bo, can I sell coffee? Hey, Chase from Charlie Hustle, can I sell pens? And, just watching people really give it their best. And I think it's an opportunity. I think you'll see two different types of people through this. And I think this is maybe getting down to that polarization in America that people talk about, not to get too political with it, but it's the people who, are going to, look around in these times and say, what can we do to help, to do our part and to add and contribute to the thing that we're doing, this America that we all believe in so much, instead of just saying, well, somebody else's problem, and saying like, this is about to be all of our problems in a very big way. And, that's where I think just, being able to have, it's what you were saying a minute ago, when you just have grace, when the technical difficulties, like nothing is perfect. And I think we've maybe tried to make things a little bit too polished and perfect over the past few years. And it just has to be, right on point. And now, having home offices or, moving, self-quarantining, for me, it's like, I'm either in this facility or I'm like at home, and just, everything is going to be different. Everything's going to be changing, and to be fluid and adaptive to that, it's for some people it's really hard, and it can be really filled with a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, but you got to just look at it kind of like a muscle. And once you start working that, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs are kind of geared towards pivoting, they're geared towards adapting, they're geared towards that more fluid lifestyle about real-time problem solving, at the best they could, produce, when Matt's, from Swellspark, Matt Basinger, like him sending me photos the other day to start promos. And I was like, I could tell that it was taken on iPhone portrait mode, but it doesn't matter.
Who cares, right?
It doesn't matter. And that's where everybody's been, jamming down our throats. Like, hey, you got to have this like high gloss finished product, and I think those who are okay with, maybe I don't know, you can call it patina, you can call it a little bit rough around the edges, and it just depends. Everybody's got a variance, of what they'll allow. But I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's like especially here in Kansas City, it's like we're constantly wearing multiple different hats all at once. And, maybe kind of like what you're saying, it's like, I feel like I'm in my element. Like, I feel like I'm in my zone right now more than ever, not just with coffee, but even just being able to communicate and talk and articulate, what we're trying to do and where our coffees are coming from, and what exciting new coffees are we still able to get a hold of and present, and how, and then it goes into the retail level too. How can we take this to the curb? How do we, overnight, a lot of this is like due to my team. They've really stepped up in a big way, and I've got awesome buy-in from them. They just believe in what we're doing, so much so that they're like, you know what, it doesn't matter. We want to stick through this with you. We're not going to file for the full unemployment. We have had some, and that's totally fine. I'm not holding that against anybody. Like, this is really different times. And So that's where it's like just being full of grace is like not just an owner and an employer, but because we have to adapt and whatever it's going to take to like keep that cash flow coming in. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that these I don't necessarily need a loan. I need cash flow. Yeah. I don't want to borrow more money. Like I need people to spend more times and keep that money coming in, and then I can make sure my wages are there. And it's not as secure as like a corporate job in that regard, because and we're trying to get there, and that's what trying to take it to the next level to where you have like a 2 to 3 month cushion when times like this happens. It's just good business practice, so trying to make sure that what we're doing right now is we're trying to make sure that we make coffee as accessible as we can. I mean, we're selling 5 pounds of coffee with a special promo code that we're running right now. This love for FRMC, LUV, the number 4 FRMC. That's love for the first responders in the medical community. And, if you use that promo code, we're trying to encourage people at our cost. I mean, this is basically like the rock bottom wholesale prices that we would offer anybody, any of our wholesale customers. We're now offering it to everybody, online, because we're trying to just get people that comfort and that energy, trying to encourage people. Like, we can't give all the coffee away. I've got quite a bit set aside that we are going to donate here in a few weeks to the medical community. But until then, we're trying to get people to buy coffee at wholesale cost for the people that they know that are in the first responder or the medical communities, and then ship it to them. Like, we'll ship it. So I don't know. I mean, we're trying to do our part and just move as much of this coffee to keep many people employed, to keep that, people drinking really great coffee at really accessible costs. I mean, at $45 for a 5 pound bag, I mean, you're talking like $9. I mean, $9 a pound. I mean, those are prices that you'd see at Costco, and that's landing, that includes shipping too. That's landing right on your door for, $9 a pound is pretty, that's pretty amazing. And I'm really proud that we're able to do that. And that's, we just run a really lean and tight and conservative business. Even though a lot of people look at us as like these hipsters, these young kid hipsters. It's like, it's just kind of funny, the box that people put you in. But we run a very conservative ship, and we were really trying to get this 2 month cushion, and then it happened, and then it was like, well, that's a bummer. But we're trying to just keep everybody as employed and busy, and everybody's taking a hit right now, and we're still a few weeks ahead of the other industries. And you're starting to see some of the big retailers start to lay people off, and that'll be the next to go, and it's just kind of trickling up right now. You're going to start seeing a lot of landlords squirming, and these stimulus packages are just never going to end. So I'm just curious to see how this goes, and that's where it's like, you just swing hard and wish it well. Sometimes that's all you can do is just swing that bat and hope you connect, because that it's coming in awful fast, and like, you might not have the expertise or the training to like in the pros to swing that bat, but everybody can pick something up and start swinging.
Yeah. And to use the baseball analogy, which we don't have to, but swing for the fences, or lay a damn bunt down, do what you got to do. Like,
do what you got to do, man.
And if it's not what you did in the past, so what? Yeah. I just want to throw this up there. The special code is LUV4FRMC. So what I can do, and again, this is like, this is also adjusting on the
there you go
law here.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's it. You use that code at checkout, and it gets you another 10% off. So getting that cost down to $45. I mean, that's wholesale pricing right there. So, but yeah, my team is they're nuts. Like, when this all happened, a few weeks ago, when they basically were like, well, 50 people in a space, and then they're like, 20 people in a space, and then 10 people in a space, and that all just happened so quick. As soon as it started, I was like, just let's go for curbside service.
And so we started building a website, and we built like 3 websites overnight, and just pivoted the whole entire company to curbside service. And that's props to my team for pulling all-nighters and pivoting the entire model. It's been a crazy ride. We've started to get the hang of it now, though, and that's where we're just continuing to try to get best practices for safety and cleanliness and sanitation. Making sure that everybody's drinks are because I mean that's the thing is, like, it's going to be more safe, coming out of a facility like ours. Everything has its place. We have processes and procedures for everything. We're already really clean, as it is, just because we have to, people do to go all the time, where they come in, pick it up, and walk out. So that's not a big deal, but trying to get the communication between sitting in your car and making an order, inside, making it, and then bringing it out, and that's the correct beverage, it just takes a little bit more. So
there's so much to all of this, Bo, and I want to get back to the not being perfect. So I'm doing this national baseball show every day too with Victor Rojas, who's the play-by-play guy of the Angels, and it's a similar type of format to this, and then a guest, and he and I have talked about how we have such a greater appreciation now for all of our crew, and we already appreciated them, but now we're the ones putting in the graphics, we're the ones doing the lighting, and it's like, man, I'm messing a bunch of stuff up, and we need to make this right. So I just popped up the KC Cattle Company logo underneath you. I'm like, whoa, that was the wrong thing. Like, just like it happened. And I'm just saying it because, like, we're all needing to do things right now that maybe we didn't do before. I have an amazing woman that does my marketing, Danielle Welch at Bridge, and she won't be doing as much for me in these few months because I've got to cut back some. And so we're figuring that out, and I'm learning some things myself. And so, we do have to be nimble. We do have to, but I think the big message here, as everyone pivots, and look, if you're in a business that doesn't need to pivot, that's great. And there are certain industries right now that are so inundated. And so that's great that they're making money and doing all that. They're also extremely needed right now. And so we're all at different levels. Like, we were talking about roles before, and see, I think I don't even know what Bo's doing right now, but I know that he's busy. We keep rolling here a little bit, but I challenge everyone out there, no matter what you do, is just find a way to contribute. And that doesn't have to be with money, or maybe it is with money. I think he's having some Bluetooth issues, but it might just be something as simple as buying Valmaist and supporting local. It might be something as simple as just getting out there. I'm going to mute him while he's doing that, and then we'll get him back. It might be something as simple as just spreading the word, telling friends about something. Like, we all can find ways to contribute. And I love what Bo said about having grace. And I think you're back with me, Bo. And I think that we're all going through this together. We're all experiencing things sometimes in different ways. And, he talked about those that do and those that don't. Everyone will at some point. And I think that eventually this will go beyond this divided political world that we live in. Like, I've been watching lately Chris Cuomo on CNN. And listen, if you're watching this, you don't like CNN, fine. I don't care. Like, it's not a left or a right thing or whatever. I really don't care. But I've been watching this guy, and he has the coronavirus, and he doesn't look his usual self. And you can tell that he's struggling, and he had to take some days off. But he's also telling his story and letting people know how he's getting through it. And I find myself thinking, boy, if I get it, I've learned something from him that hopefully will help me fight it a little bit better and give me hope. So there are ways to help, no matter what it is. And so I want to pop up, and I'll encourage everybody that's watching this live right now on Facebook and YouTube. If you have a question, by all means, send it in. And I don't know the answer to this one, but Randy Kimmel asked if you'll ship anywhere. I've got first responders in Oklahoma that I'd like to send coffee to. Is that doable or not?
Yeah, we ship anywhere in the continental United States. I mean, I've shipped a lot of stuff up to New York right now. There's a lot of love coming from New York, a lot of Seattle. I've got quite a few down in Tulsa that I send to. So yeah, bring it on. We'll ship anywhere. All those prices include shipping. So we're doing our best to try to eat as much of it as we can and just make it really cheap and easy and accessible for people to get that coffee to the front lines.
All right. So, Randy, thanks for the question. Randy's a great guy, and appreciate him chiming in like that. If anybody else has any questions, that's the beauty of this thing. We can answer those questions. And, the other thing too, and then I want to talk more about what you guys are doing. And I'm just going to leave that code up there for a while. But what I'm hearing from you in the interview is well beyond coffee.
Yeah.
It's well beyond. And I'll say, like, Thou Mayest is a great, you can call it what you want, hipster, this or that, whatever box people want to put you in or not put you in. It's a community gathering. It's a place to hang out. You do have a community. And so I'm wondering how much right now all of this enables you, put business aside. And I know that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
How much this enables you to still have that community, to still in some way, even if it's virtually, to bring people together.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit of a increase just in social media activity, particularly on Instagram. There's just been a lot more of that. I miss you guys. I miss seeing your face. The reality is, like, people can still walk in. They still can interact with us. Observing the social distancing suggestions, and then also the no more than 10 people in the space. So people can still walk in and grab their cup of coffee and say hi. I mean, as long as they're keeping their distance and being safe. But yeah, it's been tough. I mean, because that's part of what we do is create those real time brick and mortar community spaces. And it's definitely made me rethink. We were trying to hit two different fronts, trying to hit that digital community with all of our, shipping online, swiping up to order coffee, taking them directly to the website and funneling them through our system. I've been trying to do both and to do those brick and mortar spaces while doing the online. And this just kind of makes me have to double down on the online portion of it in the digital community while we are figuring out what the heck's going on with brick and mortar from here on out. So, yeah.
I'm curious. So we'll go a few more minutes or so. I don't want to keep you too long because I know how busy you are, but I'm just curious what and I've tried to ask this to a lot of my guests because I think it can be really uplifting and give people hope. But what you're hearing from some of those first responders, some of those heroes that you guys are able to, send coffee to, maybe not everyone.
Yeah.
But in my mind, everyone needs coffee right now. I need it every day. I love it. But what are you hearing from people?
Yeah, I'm hearing some really interesting stuff, and that's where I was just thinking about it a few days ago. I mean, there's two different narratives you can hear. If you watch the news, you can let fear grip a hold of you, and all of a sudden you want to go start prepping and making sure that you're ready for the apocalypse. And then the other one is the narrative that I hear right now, and the one that I really kind of choose to be a part of is one that is, people who are making sacrifices daily to help each other out. The young millennial who's going to check on their elderly neighbors to make sure that they have everything that they need. The businesses that are pivoting, to be able to, the community kitchen that's coming out of Rieger, the Rieger Hotel Grill and Exchange down in the Crossroads, getting free meals out or deeply discounted meals. There's just some amazing stories of people who are giving and who are really stepping up to the plate. And I think, and that's where I encourage people. I mean, if you want to look at the fear-based, and kind of choose to have more of a fear-based viewpoint on it, like, well, I'm going to make sure I have mine. And it's like, that's fine. I don't blame you or fault you for doing that. But, find little ways that you can contribute and add and and be a part of this thing, because it's going to bring us all deeply together. And on the other side of this, and that's kind of where, the physical community will be even stronger on the other side of this. And that's why I think, making sure that our digital community is listened to and taken care of, and that we see them, and make sure that we're continuing to be very intentional. And I think that's the hardest part on that digital. It's like, well, it's not real. So you just kind of throw anything and everything up. And, where's the fine line of that between, like, these high gloss photo, this high production, perfect presentation versus like just getting it out there. And that's where you kind of each company has to find that, and we'll see who does it well and who's able to, pivot quickly, because that really quick communication on talking points, within your brand voice, it's all very difficult to do, moving that quick. Hey, we need to get, promos out while we're trying to make a post, while we're trying to, move coffee from one store to another. And it's like, oh, now we got to roast more, we're out, so it's constant chatter right now, from my team. And that's props to them for like sticking in there and wanting to do this. I'm most concerned, and specifically with the economy, not to change too quick here, but it kind of relates, but just the service industry and the servers and the people who are making the beverages, and the food, like they're going to be the hardest to get back into this new economy. And that's where, people really we're going to have to get real creative, and we're going to be forced to get creative. And that's kind of the weird reality of it. We're going to have to make sure that we're not going to have a choice but to be creative. There's going to be so many people that we're going to have to help. So I don't know. I guess I encourage people like, hey, well, it's now or, a few months from now when it hits you, because it's going to hit everybody at some level here. So it just hit me first. Well, one of the first, I guess, events got hit, the gathering spaces, but the service industry has been, we just got our legs taken out from under us. And, we're lucky that we were already playing in that digital online space, having a production facility that I could quarantine myself to, just to make sure to protect the coffee and make sure and protect, the consumers who are getting it. It's been really important. So it's been tough. It's been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But again, like the past few years, like, we've just been, I think, kind of moving into what some of what you wanted to talk about too, but who we are and what we're up to. It's like I just believe there's kind of classic principles. I don't know always what I believe or why I believe it, but I do know that there are some classic principles that I call them sandbox rules, like that you just can't get away from them. Look people in the eye, when we could shake people's hands, it's a nice firm handshake, and treat others like you want to be treated. And there's just very classic business principles. There's a book that my dad raised us on, Safe Methods for Business. It was like late 1800s, when it was written. And a lot of those rules still apply today. And it's cool to see like the timelessness of some of those classic principles, just do the right thing. And people are like, well, that's debatable. And I'm like, if you want to get into, the semantics of it, I get it. That's why we have the law. But like, be a kind, a decent, be rational, be reasonable. Let's talk through this. Let's use our communication skills. Let's use our conflict resolution. These basic skills that have been kind of pushed by the wayside for a while. And I see kind of this return to these values that are kind of these classic principles that we've said, well, those, we might be able to disrupt those, or we may be able to bypass those. And it's like, I don't think so. I think making sure that you have strong, deep empathy towards your consumer, making sure that you are listening to every single touch point that they're interacting with, and for me, for other employers out there, making sure that you have a very happy and a very motivated, give them a reason to work for you and for your organization, for all your employees, those are my customers, making sure that they're taken care of, making sure that they are provided a safe environment that they feel like that they can express themselves, in whatever way they want to, because part of it is creativity. And then I need to make sure that we're doing the right business in the back, in the admin and just, so there's just a lot of those classic rules and foundations and principles, that we've been already doing for quite a while. And because of it, people are like, well, you're not being trendy. And it's like, why aren't you doing, your cold brew on nitrogen? It's like, well, how's that working out now? After you drop, everybody's going to canned coffee. Why haven't you done it? It's like, well, financially, it just wasn't making much sense to buy $100,000 canning line, another $100,000 in cans and have no place to move it now. I'm glad we didn't do that, so there's some things, I'm sure everybody has their things like, oh, I wish I would have done that right before it happened, or things they'll say, wow, I'm glad I didn't, or, I wish, I wouldn't have done that, right before all this happened. And it's just going to rearrange some stuff. So those who have been kind of running lean and mean and I think focusing more on values, focusing more on like slow and steady, not hockey stick growth. You want steady growth, but I think the people who are after that are, I don't know. It's not as exciting. It's not as, what's sexy these days is like slow and steady, it's more solid. It's more principled, and it helps you, helps it not be so crazy at work, so.
Well, I think that when you can wake up right now with a purpose,
yeah,
and I've been in the speaking business for 3 years. That's kind of how I've met a lot of people like you in the business community, different groups, and that type of stuff. And what I kind of figured out along the way, which I think is serving me well right now, is like for me, I'm lucky. I get to live my dream of being a broadcaster, and they pay me, or they were paying me to go to games and talk about it, and that'll come back. And I don't want to minimize the lack of ability to make money, because that will affect people in different ways too. And by no means am I set up to thrive through this. Some are, good for them. Others are trying to figure out just how to keep that roof over their head or find a way to get a meal. And I'm really empathetic to those folks, and really concerned right now about the underprivileged and underserved in this town, that are not only dealing with finding ways to have food and shelter, but how to stay healthy. I mean, that's really, really scary. And so I think about that as perspective. You talked about perspective before, but I feel like if you have the ability, and there's a, again, it's all relative, but if you have the ability just to hang on, just hang on for a few months, maybe a little easier for me to say, I don't have employees. I've got my own business. And then the baseball thing has gone away for now, and will be for a while. That's a big deal. But if I wake up every day and have a purpose beyond how can I make money, again, I know easier said than done. It's amazing that it all kind of comes back. We were talking about this, Aaron and I, yesterday, about karma. You can call it whatever you want, karma. I just believe that good work, good intentions. You talked about principles from back in the late 1800s. At the end of the day, amidst all of this social media and technology and how different the world is today, people are still people. And maybe everyone's getting there at a different point. Maybe it doesn't happen until this deadly disease, this potentially deadly disease, affects your neighborhood or your household or your family. But in the end, I whether it's over coffee, whether it's over sports, there's not really any of that right now, whether it's over music, whether it's over whatever it is, it will bring people together. That's my belief. That's my hope, at least.
No, I believe you're right. I mean, people will find a way to connect. And ultimately, I mean, if I'm listening, like, that's my job as coffee and connectivity are kind of synonymous in my brains. When people say, let's go grab a cup of coffee, what they're really wanting to do is connect in a very deep and meaningful way. And I just want to set the table, make sure that relationship, I can tee that thing up as perfectly as possible to be able to land that deal, whether that's business wise or I mean, just seeing how many dates have rolled through and like how many weddings, like whoa, my first date was at your place. It's like, man, we got a lot of first date lands, you know, at our spot. And it's like, I know there's been a lot of deals landed too. And, you know, just trying to make sure that we do our job where it's like, we're just, you know, it's almost like the best way to do that is, you know, to serve is to so they don't even realize that there wasn't anything missing, you know, whether that was a beverage or whether that was the music or the lighting or whatever. So, you know, that's where making sure that that people are taken care of, like people are going to connect. People are going to find a way to reach out, and, you know, whether that's a different way to connect, you know, that's where the adaptation comes. And, you know, people are going to be forced to have to be doing it differently in the future. And I think the people who are kind of hanging on to the past, like you can't look to the past and say, well, when it goes back to normal. And I'm like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get back there. I mean, I'm hopeful, because that was a cool place to be, but, you know, what does the new normal look like? And,
right. Yeah.
and how can we do that together? You know, I don't want to be the only person doing it. And I think just finding that community of other doers and people who are going to fight to do something, you know, and do it safely and responsibly. But, you know, the connectivity and the empathy towards whether it's the consumer, whether it's the employee, you know, that empathy is deeply felt in those markets. And people, I don't think there's going to be too many places for like this old way of doing business, which is a little more cutthroat and it's a little more brutal. Like we're going to have to play nicer with each other on, you know, all across the board, which is exciting and it's good. So,
yeah, no, it's different. And I agree with you. I mean, it may never look like it was in the past, but guess what? The past, as in like a month ago, didn't resemble the way things were, say, in the 50s. So life changes for better or worse, but I would say for better if you make the best of it. So last thing, as we wrap things up, and just a little bit of a recap here. I know I've had the special code up there. We've got the website up there for anyone that wants to help out their local heroes, or it doesn't even have to be in Kansas City. If you want to support those healthcare workers, those doctors, those nurses, those first responders, remind everyone what you guys are doing at Valmaist.
Yeah. So if you go on our website and you go to place an order, you go to our coffee section and select which roast you want. We do them in 12 ounces and we do them in 5 pounds now as well. And so you can make your selection. And then when you go to order, you enter that special promo code, that Love for FRMC, First Responders and Medical Community is what that stands for. You'll get another 10% off. And then just enter the shipping details where we need to ship it to, and we'll take it from there. We'll make sure it gets to them however you wanted it ordered and whatever roast you ended up ordering. So it's probably the easiest place is through our website. There is some ordering through our Facebook page, and you know, you can find us on social media, especially on Instagram at thou_mayest. We've got a pretty robust community going on there. So a lot of chatter, a lot of stories right now. So
at thou_mayest.
Yeah.
So that's the Instagram. I'll just while we're here and while I'm saying goodbye to you, I will on
Twitter it's at thou_may_coffee. And then on Facebook, if you just search for it. But yeah, I do a lot of that, the chatter that's on there. On the Instagram, I've got some help. Each store has its own Instagram and its own following and kind of its own community that evolves around each one of them. So I've got other people helping out on that. But
listen, one other thing too, if the Goldberg household is like, man, we're out of coffee, we need for ourselves too. We could just go online and order that, or we could still come and pick up, right?
Yeah, and at curbside as well. So I mean, you can order it. You know, we've got a Square site set up. You can order that through the website as well. and then order a curbside service. You can order 5-pound bags and 12-ounce bags, and then you can order coffee, lattes, chai, teas. We still do all the full service stuff. We've stopped doing some of the pastries and some of the food items, but all the drink items the only one we had to close was the Nelson Atkins Museum. We have a spot in there, and we had to close that because they closed down the museum. But we've got a spot on 18th Street, 519 East 18th Street in the Crossroads. That's got a whole parking lot there too that you can park in. The 412 Delaware Street, so down in the River Market. Mm-hmm. That's our River Key shop. And then Cafe Equinox, it's out in Shawnee at 7136 Neiman Road in Shawnee, inside Family Tree Nursery. So it's been interesting watching each one of them. At first, the suburbs was doing really well, and then versus the downtown, and now the downtown are doing better and the suburbs is adjusting. And so it's just kind of weird to watch the dynamics, but it's ultimately we're able to keep the lights on and keep people employed, at least, a couple people. So just trying to fight.
Well, keep fighting. I know you will. Just the spirit. I think without knowing you that well, it's who you are. I mean, I know that. I think I read people pretty well, and so you're making a huge impact in people's lives. That spirit will and passion for people will help you and others push through. So first and foremost, thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for all you're doing in the community, and anything that you want to get out there. And I know that you've already shared some of these messages. It's how I knew about this through some of our network. Let me know if there's anything you want to get out there from a social media standpoint. I'll throw it out there. So I think we're mostly just looking to push coffee online. I mean, it's the safest, it's the easiest.
If there's other distributors who are looking for other options, trying to reach other demographics with their selections, like we're interested in picking up more distributors as well, for wholesale. So Whole Foods has been a fantastic partner. They're moving just so much coffee. Chateau Home Delivery, they're another partner of ours that has just exploded just because they're able to get the products to the people in a really easy way. So you can find us in those spots, and then online it's probably the easiest for us. So thank you so much for having me on and for talking a little bit about what we've got going on right now. We've always got something crazy. We're working on, here's a little teaser. We're working on a barrel-aged coffee with Rieger in their whiskey barrels. So we're taking coffee and we've got it aged, and we're just kind of waiting on some packaging stuff to finish up, and then we'll have a barrel-aged coffee to release to everybody too.
Sign me up. I'm in on that one for sure. As a whiskey and a coffee guy, I'm sold. As soon as I hear Thou Mayest and Rieger, I'm in. Piece of cake on that one. All right, Bo, great job, and also to your employees for all the hard work that they're putting in. Continue the effort, the push. I know you will. Stay safe and healthy, and again, really appreciate everything you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, Joel. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, I'm going to take Bo offline there. That was great. I just, what to me is so cool about this, and I'm happy to talk about everyone's businesses. There's no question about it, but it's so much deeper than that. And so you get a feel over the last 45 minutes of who Bo is, what he believes in, and that passion and that care for people and community, and to do it, as he said, with grace, will go a long ways, and it'll be a huge part of us getting back to whatever the new normal is. So can't thank Bo enough. Again, go check them out at thoumayest.com. You could also check me out. Let's see if I get this right here at joelgoldbergmedia.com. And then I'm on all the social media stuff. So you can certainly go there too. Thanks to Casey Cattle Company for their partnership in this. And then I could not do this again without the support of Enterprise Bank and Trust. Hashtag no stopping you. We'll be back with actually a couple of panel discussions tomorrow about innovation, Friday about SBA loans. So hope you'll join me then. Please share this with everyone in your network. Want to just keep getting the word out, helping our community and beyond. That's going to do it for today. Have a good, healthy, and safe rest of your Wednesday in Kansas City or wherever you're watching. I'm Joel Goldberg. Thanks for watching Rounding the Bases Live, presented by Enterprise Bank and Trust.